Pictured here is Surefire's ISO Sentinel rate controller on a Case Pro 700 display. When you first get the ISO Sentinel up on the display, first thing we're going to want to do is get it configured for your implement. This is the main run screen that should come up after the VT has loaded the Sentinel onto the display. To begin setting up the ISO Sentinel for your implement, we'll start from the main run screen right here. If your display is not at the current main run screen, we'll push the Sentinel icon in the top right hand corner in order to get to that portion. We'll hit the wrench and the screwdriver in the settings tab right here. We're going to set up the ECU for the number of products. In my particular case, I have it set for 1. By touching the box and selecting 2, we can certainly set it up for multiple products. Once we're set up for the number of products that we are wanting, we're going to select this large brown box here to set up product 1. Again, product 2 will also display, and we will set up product 2 in the same fashion. From the product 1 setup display, we're going to notice a series of boxes. The first being the device. We're going to want to change the device. Currently, as default, liquid row monitoring, or the legacy Sentinel liquid row monitoring only, is available. We're going to touch this box and change it so that we can do liquid rate control. You'll notice that as being our third selection here. As we look at this list, we have liquid row monitoring, which is the ISO Sentinel liquid row monitors only, no rate control. NH3 row monitoring, which is for anhydrous ammonia. Liquid rate control, which is just traditionally controlling the liquid. Liquid rate control plus monitor. This would be using the ECU as a rate controller and using Sentinel flow modules at every row. Liquid rate control plus monitor. This is the new feature from Surefire, giving you individual row control and monitoring. For this purpose in liquid rate control, we're going to select the liquid rate control option. We're going to set up the number of sections. In my particular case, I'm going to leave this at 2. Total number of rows, we would set that up for the total number of rows on your implement. Again, the spacing. And the start section is going to be defaulted to 1. We will leave that as 1. Implement width is going to identify our implement width, which generally will be calculated given the total number of rows and the spacing. Tolerance defaults at 25%. Once the implement is set up in the product 1 category here, we're going to go ahead and touch the More button. In this tab, we can set our predefined rates. This would be set if you're not running a prescription. So in this particular case, I have a 5, 10, and a 15 gallon per acre rate, which I can change on the fly by simply touching the screen, which is common with most rate control platforms. Rate for outside rows, control integral, and liquid shift enable. These two numbers right here we're going to leave as is unless prompted to do in a later video series. Liquid shift enable, if your current product is utilizing liquid shift, we can use Sentinel to control the liquid shift and how it shifts by enabling this set point. If your system has liquid shift, go ahead and check this box. If you're not sure if you have liquid shift, consult with your Surefire representative. Once this screen is set up, go ahead and hit the back button and then touch the Sentinel icon on the upper right hand part of the screen to get us back to the run screen. Now that we've returned to our main run screen, you'll notice the run screen has now changed to show the rate control options available with Sentinel. Across the top of the display, you'll notice 6 buttons that are all user defined based off of your preferences. To change these buttons, we'll simply press the gear button, and all 6 of those spots come up, and we can change those based off of what our preferences are. You'll notice in the top here, I have 2 percentage duty cycles available. I would like to change one of those. This duty cycle is in the number 4 spot. I'm going to select the number 4, and I'm going to change that to my liquid shift status and hit OK. You'll now notice that if I have a liquid shift, my liquid shift A/B valve status is going to be displayed. Other options are obviously available in that drop-down list. In this center portion, you'll notice the rate control information that we're commonly used to. On the left-hand side, we see both our target and our actual rate for product 1. If we had multiple products, you would see them listed here. You'll also notice the box to the right of each product, which allows us to turn that product on and off with a touch of the screen. In the right-hand portion of the rate control information, you'll see the predefined rates that we set up earlier. In the lower portion of the display, you'll see the operation, setup, and diagnostic buttons that we can use to set up how this system is going to be controlled. In the Operations tab, by touching the Operate tab, we can set our tank size. In the Setup tab, you'll see that we have a control mode, which is based on rate, control speed, which we'll talk about in a later video, RPM calibration for pumps equipped with RPM sensors, a maximum RPM that we can set for a pump, flow cal, this is going to be found on your flow meter, PWM max, PWM min, start boost, and PWM open or close. Refer to your quick start card for these numbers. Under the Diagnostics tab, you'll see that this is going to give us real-time information based off of what the system is currently doing. You'll see that as we sit here, our PWM duty cycle is 0, which is to be expected. We're not doing anything. Pressure is currently 0.4 psi. Actual flow and the rest of the numbers are all 0 as well. As we're operating through the field, these numbers are going to change and give us real-time information based off of the system's performance.